Man, I don't think this fight is gonna be good for Gervonta Tank Davis.
You can't make this shit up, people.
Man, y'all all seen the fight. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. Man, people was writing Lamont Roach off. They thought he was not a good competitor. Gervonta Tank Davis, I guess, was, overlooking him. And when these guys fought, y'all all watched the fight. You seen, Lamont Roach was really beating Gervonta to the punch.
I beg your pardon?
It's like when Gervonta hit Lamont with a hit, with a punch, Lamont would come with 2 or 3 more punches than Gervonta. I feel like, he was more sharper. He was outworking Gervonta. And let's not remember when Gervonta took that knee, and people thought that, he had hair grease in his eye.
I hope so.
Okay.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, if y'all watch the fight, y'all be the judge. But from here on out, looking in, that's still a bad look, to take a knee, in the middle of a fight and not get a point taken away from that.
I don't give a fuck.
Where do we go from here? These guys are set to fight real soon. The rumors has it they're gonna fight in August 16th, at the T-Mobile Arena. Are y'all guys gonna watch this fight? I'm gonna watch this fight. And who do y'all got winning this fight? I feel like with Gervonta leaving his coach, Coach Calvin, things wasn't right for that fight. It just felt awkward. I think that, Gervonta could lose. He could lose because, he don't have the right people in his corner. I don't understand why, Gervonta decided to part ways with, Calvin, Coach Calvin. But this fight right here, this is going to be I feel like this is going to be a different fight. I feel like Gervonta is going to really take Lamont Roach more seriously. I think, the fans will take Lamont Roach more seriously. Guys, we need to stop thinking that these fighters, just because people barely know them, we got to stop thinking that these guys don't got the skills to compete. When you look at it, there's many fighters that you'll never hear about, that would never get that chance to, show their skills, because sometimes, it just doesn't fall in their favor, Sometimes it just doesn't fall in their favor. They don't have the right promoter, and sometimes they just don't know how to promote themselves, But, this fight right here, my prediction for this fight, I'm gonna tell you straight. If Gervonta doesn't, bond with his new coach, if Gervonta doesn't get things settled straight with his new coach, Gervonta could possibly lose this fight. It would be very hard for Gervonta to lose because Gervonta does have the corner on his side. He does have the judges. He is the star. If he was to win, he brings the money in. Lamont Roach don't really bring that money in like Gervonta.
Tank hit that nigga. He hit him, boom. Then he hit him again, and he went out. I jumped in the ring because at the time Devin is 17.
So Lamont is going to have to take the fight to Gervonta. He's going to have to really, really show these judges that he's the winner. He can't leave it up to the judges because even when Gervonta took that knee and even the ref, Lamont is going to have to really put that fight down on Gervonta. But my prediction is for this fight is, honestly, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If Gervonta don't catch Lamont Roach, I think Lamont's gonna outbox him. I really do. I really think that's gonna happen. I got Lamont.
But Shakur, that guy will put anybody to sleep outside the ring.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I am one of the best boxers in the world, male or female. I think it's Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, me. That's it.